News 4 consumer investigators put a spotlight on the boating industry.
Throughout the day, we've been revealing details about horrific boating accidents that left two families devastated. 7-year-old Ryan died. Nikki Bell suffered a severe head injury. The families believe defective designs and a lack of oversight led to their tragedies and have now sued the manufacturers.
Now we turn our focus to what we've uncovered. Consumer investigative reporter Susan Hogan is here with the story you'll see only on News 4. Susan?
Well, that's right. What you're looking at right there, those are the actual boats involved in both accidents. But the lawsuits filed on behalf of Ryan and Nikki are revealing industry-wide practices that some safety experts say are putting you and your family in danger on the water. 80 million boats are on the water in the United States. In the summer, it's a rite of passage for people of all ages. But this lawsuit is exposing potential weaknesses in the boating industry, questioning who is designing these boats and actually testing them. Ryan Batchelder's family from Lake Worth, Florida, is suing Malibu Boats, claiming negligence. They say the 2000 Response LX the family rented at a lake in Georgia 3 years ago had a defective design, which led to their son's death.
I thought we were in a safe situation. I mean, obviously, there's inherent dangers in boating.
News 4 obtained several videotaped depositions in the case, including former CEO and founder of Malibu, Robert Alkema, who retired from the company in 2009.
Cut a hole in the deck and we tried it, tested it.
Alkema described how the company created the Response LX in 1996 by simply cutting a hole in the deck of another model and adding seats to the bow.
Was that a concern when Malibu decided to add bow seats to the Response and make it the Response LX that, hey, now we're going to have weight in the front of the boat that we don't have on the Response boat? Was that a topic of discussion?
That was a primary concern, yeah.
Okay. Why was that a concern?
Because there's more weight in the front than when it was originally designed, yeah.
Despite the concern, Alkema testified that no engineering adjustments were ever made.
And what efforts were made to counteract or deal with that proposed concern?
It was tested thoroughly.
Malibu employees, including Alkema, did take the Response LX on the water to test it.
I did the testing. I had one of those boats.
But Alkema testified that at that time, it wasn't Malibu's practice to follow any formal guidelines when testing boats, and the only proof of testing?
The evidence would be our experience and our recollection. There are no test documents that I'm aware of.
Okay. Those no longer exist?
I don't know that they ever existed.
In a statement to News 4, Malibu's attorney says the company's boats are designed and tested prior to sale to their customers, and the company has produced 50,000 boats since 1982. While pouring through thousands of pages of depositions in Ryan's case, we came across this. Another lawsuit against a different manufacturer. The family in this case also blaming a defective design and inadequate testing, this time by Mastercraft. News 4 flew out to Sacramento, California to meet Nikki Bell. In 2006, Nikki was riding in the bow of a boat when it became swamped. She was washed overboard and struck by the propeller. As you can see, she has lifelong injuries, including a severe brain injury.
They disrupted my life.
In 2011, a jury found Mastercraft 80% at fault in that accident, with the driver of the boat 20% responsible. Nikki was awarded $30 million.
What really horrified the jurors on our case was that the fact that Mastercraft did zero engineering, no testing of the boat at all relative to the weight that they said was fine and the number of people, and nothing about the performance of the boat.
Mastercraft appealed the verdict and ultimately settled the case without admitting any liability. In a statement to News 4, Mastercraft said, in part, the boat was not defective in design or manufacture, and the boat met or exceeded all standards promulgated by the U.S. Coast Guard and the American Boat and Yacht Council. We learned during our investigation that manufacturers testing their own boats is a standard and accepted practice. In fact, the government, including the Coast Guard, has very little involvement in how recreational boats are designed and tested. We asked the Coast Guard for an interview. They declined our request. But we can tell you that most of the Coast Guard's authority when it comes to these boats revolves around safety equipment that's required on board in law enforcement.
Why isn't the Coast Guard looking at this from a safety standpoint?
Safety expert Sean Kane says it's troubling how boats, unlike cars, are manufactured with very few regulations.
A lot of it's very much seat of the pants, and because there's no federal oversight, and because organizations, the industry organizations, don't have enough standards in place either, and they're voluntary, you end up with safety problems like this.
Now, our investigation is not over. There are some checks and balances when it comes to designing and testing these boats. Trade organizations are setting the standards, and most manufacturers say they follow them. But safety experts are warning those standards are voluntary. Tonight on News 4 at 11, we took those concerns right to one of the largest trade groups, what they had to say about your safety on the water.
Wow, you think about how much goes into testing our cars
Exactly.
to make them safer.
You have
This
the
is
National
pretty
Highway,
shocking.
exactly, you have the National Highway Traffic and Safety Administration that does that with the cars, as you said. But when it comes to boats, it was one of those kinds of things as we were peeling away kind of through these depositions, you realize, wow, there really isn't that much out there.
Very surprising.
Yes.
More at 11, Susan.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Susan.
You're welcome.
Our consumer team has been rolling out this investigation all day. You can watch all of their stories on the NBC Washington app. Just search Small Craft Advisory. We've also posted copies of the lawsuits along with some of the evidence and photos from the cases that we've been telling you about.